Slapping sanctions on North Korea was the easy part, but enforcing them is proving a much bigger challenge. Chinese ships reportedly caught red-handed transferring crude oil to North Korea at sea have underlined the difficulty in policing United Nations sanctions globally, international and maritime law experts say. Here is why. The US government has published surveillance photographs taken in October which it claims show a ship-to-ship oil transfer to the rogue state. It prompted President Donald Trump to fire off a tweet scolding China. If true, they are proof of a breach of the September United Nations resolution banning member states from selling more than allowable limits of crude oil to North Korea. As a member of the UN, China approved the sanctions against North Korea and did not veto them in the Security Council. There are reports that up to 30 ship-to-ship transfers have taken place since the new sanctions came into effect. Professor Donald Rothwell, who teaches international maritime law at the Australian National University, ANU, said that it was clear the ships were doing the transfer at sea to avoid detection. Ship-to-ship transfers are harder to monitor than vessels docking at ports in China or North Korea, according to ANU international law expert Kevin Borham. Sanctions monitoring and enforcement is a big problem area, he said. China is regarded as reluctant to put high pressure on North Korea. They are concerned about any sanction that could collapse the North Korean regime. But the Chinese government maintains it has been completely and strictly enforcing Security Council resolutions. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua Chunying said the Chinese side has conducted immediate investigation following the reports that a Chinese vessel was suspected of transporting oil. In reality, the ship in question has, since August, not docked at a Chinese port and there is no record of it entering or leaving a Chinese port, Ms. Hua said, adding she was not aware if the vessel had docked at the port in other countries but the relevant media reports did not accord with facts. Professor Rothwell said China's strict enforcement of this Security Council resolution is absolutely critical to the resolution being effective. Through history, countries who have been subject to UN Security Council resolutions have often sought to find an intermediary to exploit in order to circumvent sanctions. In the lead-up to the Second Iraq War, a sanctions regime was lodged against Saddam Hussein's government, which spawned similar efforts to bypass the regulations. There were also reports in 2015 of ship-to-ship transfers being used to circumvent fuel sanctions on Iran. Resolutions clearly do not achieve 100% compliance, Professor Rothwell said. Professor Rothwell said ship-to-ship transfers are not uncommon, and some shipping industries did use them as a legal loophole. However, this is only possible if it took place in international waters. There might be an economic advantage of transferring from ship A to ship B because of different legal instruments, he said. But this does not appear to be the case in this instance.